Hey everybody, this is IndieGeek, and today I'm taking a look at Infested Planet. So this game just came out today. It is a game by Rocket Bear Games, and it is available on PC and Mac now through Steam for $12 for the opening week sale and $15 after that. So this is a game that has been in development for 3.5 years, and I believe for a lot of that it was available Steam Early Access. I could be wrong on that, but it is now out of beta. It is officially released, and I am loving it a lot more than I thought I would, so I'll kind of get to that as we go through. But the first thing I want to mention is that there's quite a bit of content here. So there's a campaign mode, as you can see. There's this skirmish mode, which I haven't tried yet, but I imagine that they're just kind of more levels that just don't have anything to do with the campaign. If I go into custom, you can actually, like, basically decide how you want to do it. So that's kind of, in a way, infinite replayability if you like this kind of thing. And then there's the weekly challenges, which I keep saying it, but weekly challenges are just such a good idea. Or daily challenges, either way, like just something that keeps people coming back every time is it's really, really good idea, and it's something that I could actually potentially see myself doing for this game. So I'm going to jump into the campaign here, and I'm going to see if I can go back and do, yeah, like level 1. Alright, so I'm going to kind of explain what's going on here. So let's, I'll read through this story bit. So the title is Drake's Devils. Rise and shine, you devils. Hope y'all had a mighty comfy dreams, cause you're gonna to be ankle deep in alien bleep by evening. We're all here for one reason, to get paid the big bucks. So don't die on me out there, cause you ain't getting paid if your chewed up carcass is lying on the rocks below. You know what to do. You've trained hard for this. I'll see you grunts playing aside. Sorry, I don't have a great accent for that. But, so this is our game, and basically what it is it's kind of a, I don't mean to say this to say the game is necessarily bad or anything. It's kind of a small scale RTS is how I think of it. And what I mean by small scale is, because like I have a little bit of StarCraft experience. I actually haven't touched StarCraft 2, but I played a ton of StarCraft 1 as a kid. So what I mean by small scale is that rather than like starting from scratch and having to build up this giant army basically to win, you start with 5, and I've played the first 4 or 5 missions, and as far as I can tell, for the most part, those 5 are what you need, and that's super cool to me because, you know, one of the things that I never really enjoyed that much about StarCraft was kind of that whole process of starting from scratch and having to build an army basically to even stand a chance. And, you know, I mean, like, a game of StarCraft can take an hour sometimes, depending on the mission. I much prefer this, where my, you know, a mission is going to last maybe 5 or 10 minutes. So that's more what I mean on small scale. It's not necessarily a bad thing that it's small. In fact, I enjoy that because, you know, I've got a lot of games to play, so it's nice when I can get through something in 5 or 10 minutes. So it almost feels like this is a bit of a kind of a bite-sized RTS game. Excuse me. And you know, that's really good. If I didn't mention, I'm not normally a huge fan of RTS games, so I went into this kind of not knowing what to expect, and I've been really, really pleasantly surprised. So, as you can see, I'm basically just moving my group around here, but say I wanted this one guy over here, I can totally do that. So you don't have to move the whole group at once, but you can. And things get obviously crazier than this because this is only the first mission, of course. So basically what we're doing here is we're taking out these hives, and then we are kind of taking over the hive for ourselves. And that's kind of the basis here. And, you know, we get this cool stat screen that tells us our kills. So, I mean, we killed 11,000 aliens, which is kind of wild. We didn't lose anyone, so that's pretty cool. It only took us 2 minutes, 20 seconds. You know, and then some other stuff, some other cool, tells us how many commands we issued, so it's got a kind of a cool little stat screen, and then we get to shop, so I can't really afford anything that I want right now. Excuse me. So this is kind of, you know, the point of doing the missions is that you get money, and then you can buy extra stuff, extra weapons, extra buildings, stuff like that, or you can buy these single mission things. So like this would give me 1 extra soldier, this would give me an extra shotgun, but I'm not really going to go through that, and I'm gonna have to keep clicking back because I want to go do these story missions. So we are basically doing the same thing here, except we get kind of a little more control and a little less direction from the game this time. But I mean, this is basically the way this works. So when we take over one of those hives, basically we get BP points. So if we use the BP, you can see we were able to get a couple more Marines. So now I can have 8 Marines instead of 5. So, you know, like I said, it's still kind of small scale. Like, we're not worried about getting, you know, 150 units or something together to, you know, kind of defend a base, because it's not necessarily about defending a base for the most part. It's more just about taking over the other base, if you want to think of it as a base. And, you know, that's kind of what draws me into this. Because typically the parts of, like, StarCraft and other RTS games that I don't like are the parts where you have to, you know, get yourself a big defensive force. I much prefer kind of this part of it, where you're just going and taking over other people's defenses. So what those were down there were shotguns. So I was just picking up some shotguns. You know, I've had a couple losses here, but that's okay. As far as I can tell, there isn't really a penalty for losses, and I don't know if that maybe changes later. But for now, there isn't. And I should be able to, yeah, I can use my rockets here. They don't teach you about rockets until like the next mission, but I played around with it. I think the first time I did this mission as well, I just started using rockets because it's just right there, so kind of, you know, the rocket launcher drew me in, you could say. And that'll be that. So that's another mission 1 here. So like I said, you know, I really love that this is kind of just bite-sized, because it makes it a lot easier for someone like me. You know, I don't have an hour to sit down and play a game of StarCraft or something, so, you know, and that's obviously not the only good thing about it. There's a lot of good stuff about it. I will say, like, one of the things that really pops out to me is the art of the game. It's got, you know, kind of a cartoony style, but I think it works really well, and I like it. The environments, they kind of look hand-painted, and they in fact might be. If they aren't, then they look like they're meant to kind of simulate being hand-painted, so either way, that's definitely something that I enjoy. So this is the first mission that things start getting a little tough, but we should be alright. So the nice thing is, like, I don't have to click just one unit if I want to go just get that ammo. If I just right-click the ammo, one unit will just leave and go get the ammo. So, in my mind, what this game does really well is it kind of takes out a lot of the kind of tedious parts of RTS games. And that's kind of a big deal to me because, as I said, you know, I typically find RTS games to be kind of tedious. This one is not. This is... And it's kind of just like quickly becoming potentially my favorite RTS game, which is pretty wild. I could definitely see myself spending a lot of time with this. The music's not bad. It's kind of typically what you'd expect for this kind of thing. Space games lately tend to have, you know, kind of the same kind of music soundtracks, and that's cool. There's nothing wrong with it. I don't think the music is particularly that important. I think what's actually far more important in this is the art style, and the art style is really, really good. I like it a lot. Okay, well, since I've got you there anyways, I'm going to have you get some ammo. Have you guys head up here. And if I didn't mention, as you could expect from this being an RTS, the only thing I'm using is my mouse. And I think that's pretty much standard fare for RTS games. So, you know, like I said, these missions do start to get a little tougher. I actually don't know where my... Oh, there he is. Hey, dude. Let's have you head up here. These guys, I want to get over here. Because if you don't take out the base fast enough, the hive will come back. Obviously, that's not a good thing. So the nice thing, like I said, there's that skirmish mode, and I believe for that the aliens are, you know, like the maps and the alien layouts and stuff like that. I believe for that mode they are randomly generated, or maybe procedurally generated. Either way, so that's pretty cool because that kind of gives you, you know, a different kind of play style each time. And of course there's the weekly challenges that are going to be different every time. And then the other thing that I have read a bit about, but I haven't gotten that far in the game yet for that to start happening, is apparently eventually the aliens will start to mutate, which I think is a pretty cool idea. And it's not necessarily like set in stone when they're going to mutate, so that can be, I would imagine that that gets pretty interesting later on. But, you know, I'm probably not going to play for too much longer here. I think, you know, what it comes down to is, I mean, if you couldn't tell, I'm enjoying the game a lot. And it's kind of a game that I would recommend to anyone who's an RTS player, especially if you're typically kind of a more casual RTS player, because this, so far, I mean, it feels like an RTS player's, yeah, I mean, it feels kind of like an RTS game meant for someone who doesn't play a lot of RTS games. So I kind of feel right at home playing this game, and that's, you know, that's a really good thing. Okay, so we're in a bit of a pickle here. So this is actually kind of nice though, because it's showing off that it is not just like a cakewalk through, you know, it does pick up difficulty here. Okay, so I kind of want to just try and push my way through, see if I can take over this hive without dying. Come on. Perfect. Okay, and the reason I wanted to do that is because then when my people come back, they will spawn here instead. Alright. So there is actually quite a bit of strategy going on here. Just in, I'm not sure what these guys are doing. Maybe they can actually go and eventually take that hive back. I don't know, that'd be interesting. So I'm kind of just watching out and seeing what happens here. I did not have nearly as many problems. Oh, they can. That's wild. Okay, well, I think what's going to happen is I'm just going to have to let them do that, basically. Okay. And then I'll just kind of go finish that up after taking care of this. Point lost. Yep. Okay. So that's kind of cool. So these can actually turn south. And then you're left kind of having to get, you know, kind of having to backtrack on progress. I didn't know because I actually haven't had this happen before. So let's go take this hive back. Okay. And you know, I think part of it is that I have not like spawned any extra soldiers to help, which is probably not the best idea. You know, typically you're gonna want to spawn more soldiers, and I think I might go ahead and do that now a little bit. Kind of get these guys over here helping out. And that should make it a little easier. So because, I mean, these like little aliens are pretty easy to kill, but I mean, it gets to the point where there's just like thousands of them. So it can be pretty overwhelming. And I gotta say, their game runs really, really well. I think I've got all the options turned up to the highest they can go, and of course, you know, it's like taking care of spawning tons and tons of little aliens, and I'm not experiencing any slowdown or anything, so that's really good. Yeah, I really can't stress enough how much I think the game looks really great. Okay. The nice thing is, even when they run out of ammo, they will remember their targets. Saves me a little hassle. I don't have to like re-pick targets all the time. So we should be able to take this, and then that'll be that mission. And I think this is probably a good place to wrap it up here. So, like I said, this is definitely a game that I recommend, especially if you like RTS, but maybe don't like the time requirements for RTS. It looks like the campaign is pretty lengthy. You know, I would imagine the campaign probably takes, I don't know, maybe 6 to 8 hours, I would guess, by looking at it. Obviously, I have not gone through it all, but so there's that, and then there's the skirmish modes as well as the weekly challenges. So quite a lot of content here. So I definitely think that it's worth it. I think you should check it out, especially, like I said, if you are into RTS games. I was pleasantly surprised, and I think you might be too. So, as always, feel free to comment if there's anything that you would like to comment on. Subscribe to the channel to see more of my videos every single day. And if you liked my video on Infested Planet, please consider clicking the like button, because that could help me out a lot. I appreciate everything that you do to help. So with all of that being said, I thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time.